This is News 8 at 5.
The spread of COVID continues. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price.
And I'm Kirsten Holmes. Tonight, the COVID-19 surge continues, fueled by the Delta variant. Right now, the CDC says more than half of the counties in the U.S. are considered high transmission areas.
New daily cases are now higher at this point than they were last summer. And as Delta extends its grip, millions of Americans remain unvaccinated and unmasked. Elise Preston has the latest.
As COVID-19 cases surge nationwide, Dr. Anthony Fauci is sending a message to tens of millions of unvaccinated Americans.
We've really got to get those people to change their minds, make it easy for them, convince them, do something to get them to be vaccinated, because they are the ones that are propagating this outbreak.
Nationally, over the latest week, COVID hospitalizations rose nearly 50%. 97% of them were unvaccinated. In Israel, the government is giving booster shots to people 60 years and older. Data there shows COVID vaccines' effectiveness waning over time and with the spread of the Delta variant.
We now see that the vaccine effectiveness against disease is roughly 40%. It still remains high for severe disease, but we are seeing diminished protection, especially for people who have been vaccinated earlier.
Last week, the CDC reversed its spring guidance, now saying all Americans should wear masks when gathering indoors in parts of the country with high transmission rates. That followed an outbreak last month in Provincetown, Massachusetts. It showed COVID can spread as easily as chickenpox, and that even vaccinated people can get COVID and transmit it. At this testing site in Broward County, Florida, some waited more than 2 hours for their turn on Saturday.
My husband's grandmother and mother tested positive for COVID, and he was with them over the weekend.
The CDC says more than 21,000 new cases were reported in Florida Friday, levels the state has not seen since January. Elise Preston, CBS News.
Nationally, first dose vaccinations are up 30% in the last week.
Well, despite the rise in COVID-19 cases, the San Diego Convention Center welcomed back events today.
The facility has been busy over the last year with other important projects like housing San Diego's homeless and migrant children. But today was the first convention. News 8's Allison Royal has a look inside this very first conference and shows us some of the guidelines now taking effect at the convention center.
Conventions are back at the beautiful San Diego Convention Center, and that's a relief for both the convention center and nearby businesses that have lost an estimated $2 billion over the course of this pandemic from canceled or rescheduled conventions.
Visitors are pulling up to the San Diego Convention Center for the first time in a long time. One of those visitors checking in is Lucas Anderson from Utah.
I'd say a lot of different emotions, both very excited and a little nervous.
He's attending the SPIE conference.
My talk is on basically active thermal control for small satellites.
It's not exactly small talk. It's the organization's first in-person conference in about a year and a half. These scientists are discussing how technology makes conveniences like barcodes a reality.
Well, we're a bunch of optics and photonics geeks, so the favorite phrase is, wow, you're three-dimensional now.
While it's more hands-on than Zoom calls, there are still some rules in place. Convention Center and SPIE staff members are all asked to wear masks regardless of vaccination status. Vaccinated guests can choose to wear a mask if they want to or go without, and then the masks are required for people who are not vaccinated. However, it's all based on the honor system. There's also minimal contact with check-in, more social distancing, and then virtual payment. This conference only has 1,400 people. However, an event of 5,000 people or more would be more strict.
This first event that is back in the building is not the size of an event like Comic-Con or Esri, but I think that it's helpful for us to begin hosting events at this scale before we move into hosting the larger events.
Still, after over a year of empty hallways and Zoom calls, it's exciting to welcome back guests to San Diego.
The ability to run into colleagues in the hallways in between and go by exhibitor booths and have a conversation that are impromptu, Zoom can't really do that.
A step toward getting the events industry back up and running. Allison Royal, News 8.
Well, street parking is out and bike lanes are in along 30th Street and North Park. And today, bicyclists held a rally to celebrate Cyclists of all ages came out to support what they're calling a victory. San Diego County Bike Coalition says bike lanes like these save lives after 12 bicyclists have died in the past year, with 5 of those deaths happening just in the month of July. But the issue of bike lanes in North Park has also been met with opposition. Critics of the lanes say the addition of the bike lanes only made an already tough parking situation even tougher after the area lost around 400 parking spots for the lanes. Supporters of the bike lanes say not only do they save lives, but they also bring in new life and new traffic to area businesses.
To see this number of people, these members of the community, excited to support these bike lanes, support these businesses. It's been a long time since we've had a group of people like this together. This has been a long-awaited project, and we're really excited to thrive on 30th Street.
The ride, like you heard there, called Thriving on 30th, started at 10 o'clock this morning at Epic Brewing.
UC San Diego students rallied today. They are pushing back against rent hikes for campus apartments. About 100 students marched to the chancellor's residence, a move they say showcases the significant differences in lifestyles from the bottom to the top.
Right, this is a huge place. It overlooks La Jolla Shores, and we're out here to say, you know what, while you're enjoying a very cushy lifestyle, we are limited to 100 or around $300 per month to pay our bills, to get groceries. We're hurting, we're rent burdened, and we're calling on the chancellor to do something.
The rent increases are kicking in this summer. They will range from 30% to over 80% for graduate students who are living in campus apartments.
An off-duty San Diego police officer was arrested last night for assault with a deadly weapon and brandishing a firearm. According to the department, Trevor Sterling was creating a disturbance at a Pacific Beach bar and threatened someone with a gun. Turns out it was his personal firearm. He was suspended without pay. Sterling has been with the department for 9 years. And back in May of 2016, he was one of 4 officers to open fire and kill a man after a chase in Encanto after the suspect drove toward those officers.
Well, it's been 3 years now since thousands of families lost their homes in the devastating Camp Fire. They are still working to rebuild there. Local reinforcements spent some time in Paradise, California, and they just returned to San Diego today. News 8's Ariana Cohen is at the San Diego International Airport to share their stories.
Volunteers deployed by international relief teams just arrived a few hours ago after a 2-week trip, and they shared what their experience was like. The 2018 wildfires in California were the deadliest and most destructive in the state's history. About 30,000 families lost their homes and livelihoods and their hopes for the future. Only 5% of the buildings in Paradise remained without serious damage.
It's outrageous to see what's happened.
Sunday, a group of 8 construction volunteers from the International Relief Teams, a nonprofit humanitarian organization dedicated to helping rebuild and repair communities to victims from the Camp Fire who cannot recover on their own, arrived at San Diego International Airport after spending 2 weeks in Paradise.
There we go. On one hand, the town is frozen in time since the fire, but there's nothing behind them. It's just bare earth. Finally, they're starting to rebuild in Paradise.
They're great guys.
The volunteers say they helped build 3 homes, 2 including the roofs, and 1 from the ground up. They help families who are elderly, low income, or living on a fixed budget.
They get a grant and sometimes an interest-free loan for 30 years, but we provide the labor, which is free.
We're happy to finally be out and helping people again. That's what we love to do.
It's very rewarding. You know, now I'm retired, so I'm able to give back, and this is one of the ways I do it. So we love it. We all do, and we work hard, and we enjoy doing it.
Ariana Cohen, News 8.
San Diegans always helping out, and volunteers say they are always happy to have more people. If you want to help out, you can go to our website. We have a link on how to join the International Relief Teams. Just go to CBS8.com and click on this story.
Fire crews out east are gaining ground on a small brush fire. According to CAL FIRE, it started east of Julian near Desert Queen Mine around 1:30. Now it's burned an estimated 15 acres and has not threatened any structures. The fire has a slow rate of spread. No word yet on what sparked that fire. Now, those crews are dealing with some pretty serious heat, but how long will that stick around?
Let's check in now with meteorologist Sean Stiles for a first look at your microclimate forecast. And man, Sean, what a difference a day makes.
Yeah.
Yesterday morning, walked outside, clouds, a little chilly. Yeah. And today, boy, a different story.
Yeah, take a look at this. We've got a heat advisory for the eastern ends of the inland microclimates in the foothills of our mountains and into the mountains, and then the deserts. Well, they're going to be looking at an excessive heat watch, and these are all lasting through Wednesday at 8 p.m. So any relief, it is not coming anytime soon. And on top of that, humidities are down and winds are up. You can see how the flow is really pushing through the foothills and into the mountains, heading towards the southeastern part of the country. That's high pressure, and then the low that is sitting to the north of us. That's a live look from San Miguel Mountain towards the west. What marine layer? There is none of it. The high pressure builds. It brings the heat. Hot inland mountains and deserts, and clear skies along the coast with near seasonal temperatures, maybe a little bit above. So 81 tomorrow. Yeah, that's a little bit above, but still nowhere near what the inland microclimates are looking at. 95, 95, and then it starts to cool down just a little bit. But there'll be spots that should touch 100 degrees in the eastern inland microclimates.